So we're here hours before the launch of STEM Century Takes a Village to Raise a 21st Century Graduate, the NABSE Edition. And I want to capture some of the thoughts of our authors before we get into the night. So lots of activities going on behind us, but we should get some real gems out of these authors.
All right, this is Chapter 9, Career Imagination by Dr. John B. Gordon III. Not long ago in a neighborhood near you, 3 African-American kids grew up in the suburbs of Richmond, Virginia. Our neighborhood was unique, as the majority of the families, or at least the parents, knew each other from when they were kids. Our neighborhood parents were mostly teachers, car salespeople, factory workers, and middle managers in corporate America. My family was no different, as my mother was a high school mathematics teacher and my father was a manager for CMP Telephone. It is safe to say that education was the end-all, be-all in my house, and my parents made it very clear that my sisters and I must keep our grades up, must not get in trouble in school, and must have high expectations for ourselves. What made my neighborhood so special is that all of our friends' parents had the same expectations for them.
You were not underserved because your parents were of the profession. They were professionals.
Yes. I had parents that were professionals, but we still had many barriers and obstacles, mainly because of the time that we grew up in. My mother was always, being a teacher herself, she was always very vocal in our schools and very visible. Because one of the things she would say is, if they don't know who I am, sometimes things may happen to slow you down, especially when it comes to the advanced classes, to taking some math courses early, taking some science courses early. And it was good that because we had other folks in the neighborhood that had those similar backgrounds, similar interests, they could reinforce a lot of the same things that our parents taught us at home.
In those same neighborhoods, you may have parents who understand the importance of STEM education. You may also have parents who don't, even though they're professionals the same, because we are really in this place in our evolution where STEM education and technology is transforming how we live, work, and play. You're one of our lead educators across the country, a superintendent of Suffolk, Virginia. How do you bridge the gap, right, that exists between those who know where STEM is and its crucial importance and those who don't know, so that we can get on the same page about the preparation of our young people to thrive in the rest of the 21st century?
So I really think that's multifaceted, where you have to use the kids themselves to be able to spread the message, because peer pressure is still the most powerful thing in society. And a lot of times if you hear that kid's voice showing them what we try to teach them about economic and workforce development, letting them see that if I'm in a STEM career, I can make X amount of dollars fresh out of high school. And then some of the information that you share about all the job vacancies. When we take a look at the Amazon Center that was built in Suffolk and the importance of robotics, that's reality to them. I mean, this generation doesn't like to be told. This information is about things being seen. And it also is an opportunity for them to be able to explore new things at an earlier age. So I think it's my job as the superintendent of Suffolk to give them that opportunity as early as we can, but also to be able to provide them options. It's more than just having the PSAT telling you what your probable career is going to be in 10th grade. It's about you actually learning by doing and having those hands-on activities giving you that additional interest. But then you also, to really close the deal, you have to bring in experts in the field that look like the kids. That's when they really believe that what you're trying to do is a reality.
Your chapter title is very powerful, Career Imagination.
The chapter is about one of my earliest recollections of an exposure to STEM is the RAPME program, which stood for the Richmond Area Program for Minorities in Engineering. And that program, I was in elementary school when my sisters were in middle school doing it, opened me up to seeing, okay, you actually tell me I can help build a rocket that can shoot off into space, that I could take popsicle sticks and glue and create a bridge, and depending on the construction of the bridge will determine how much weight it could have, because all I wanted to do was use my Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars and play with the bridge anyway. But having that opportunity to see my sisters have the excitement about it, and then to live it myself once I got to 7th or 8th grade at Brooklyn Middle School allowed me to be able to follow in their footsteps. And that's something that a lot of younger siblings always want to be able to do.
Yes. You use the word exposure quite a bit. So historically, The way this STEM has been presented to student populations is an opportunity for high-performing students. So we hear this over and over and over and over. Exposure is really crucial to normalize this idea that STEM is for everyone. What are some of the things that you're doing to expose even the least of them in your school district to STEM opportunities so they can normalize STEM on their educational journey?
One of the things we actually did last year in Suffolk Public Schools, and that's Suffolk, Virginia, just to make sure everybody's clear, right? One of the things we did last year is we had a summer STEM camp, and we had some of our local business partners that actually provided an opportunity for our kids to have resources they may not normally see.
Yes.
And my coordinator of science and STEM instruction, Dr. Caitlin Leitner, is really big on trying to really remodel the entire way that we teach. And with the partnership that we have with 21st Century Ed, we're really expanding that so that students have to understand, and staff more importantly, we're not just going to teach STEM in science class. We're not just going to teach STEM in math. We're going to use principles and concepts in English, history, physical education, whatever we can do so that you really have this wraparound curriculum that really prepares our kids for the jobs. I have been really big on making sure that my kids have the latest technology. It's recreating an ambulance for EMT that has the state-of-the-art medical dummies back there. But the ambulance itself gives the kids the barriers of knowing that you're in a confined space if you are an EMT. You can dig deeper in elementary school so that when the kid says that they want to be a fireman or they want to be a doctor, let's give them some real-life examples. Let's have them do some research on it. And then once the kid can put it into their own words, that really lets you know they have mastery of what they're talking about.
That's exactly right. We're at risk of losing our global leadership in terms of innovation, inventions, technology. And so where we find pockets of excellence, we have to share that with other communities, other school districts across the country. So Suffolk Public School will have the first localized STEM-centric book, and you sharing your best practices and opening up what you're doing to the rest of the country is just brilliant, and that's the work that needs to be done by our thought leaders and our educational leaders.
Yeah, that's what we try to do. I mean, that's what innovation is about. Because we have several individuals that we know are thought leaders, but a real thought leader has action that goes along with it. And that's what we really want to be able to focus on.